champions, and they've won 5 on the spin. What a game! This is the way the table looks, and as you can see, it's pretty tight up there at the top. A Wigan victory, they will go above Bradford and Hull. A Bradford win, they will go above St Helens on points difference into second. Quite a match, as I say. And the Bradford Bulls, they've won 5 in a row following back-to-back defeats at St Helens and Leeds. This is their team. Reardon, Andy Smith, Price, Harpy, Vinacolo. Yestin Harris on his full debut back with the Bulls. Deacon at scrum half. Forwards, Van Ganar, Robbie Paul, Fielden, Peacock, Swan and Radford. And on the bench, Anderson, Langley, Aaron Smith and Parker. And the coach is Brian Noble. Wigan Warriors will line up like this. Radlinski at fullback, then it goes Dallas, Aspinwall, Wild and Carney back in the side after an horrific injury run. Orr and Lamb operating at halfback. The forwards, Smith, Newton and Farrell, who's the captain and operating at prop these days. Tickle and Hock, and O'Loughlin is the loose forward. And the substitutes for Wigan, Cassidy, Mark Smith, Hanson and Gary Connolly. And Dennis Betts is the acting coach, but he is the reigning coach of the month. And there's Yestin Harris. He has a huge job on his hands this evening, trying to contain Danny Orr. It's his first start. He had half an hour last week, of course, as substitute for the Bradford Bulls against Wakefield. And Wigan will present a mighty challenge, and beaten in the last 7. They've lost just 1 of 9 under Dennis Betts. And they've got rivals St Helens in second place just now, Wigan a 5th, but only a couple of points separate them. And there is Brian Carney, 28 next Friday. He returned against Salford. He missed 20 matches injured at the start of the season, injured in the Cup at the Widnes Vikings. And the Irish flag and Brian Carney, well, he's a great favourite on the terraces here. Match referee is Russell Smith. Pitch is in remarkable condition. Thankfully, summer has briefly returned. We have blue skies overhead, and Steve-O, we have a game to light up the Super League.
Certainly do, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure all of you has realised that Wigan versus Bradford, something extra special. You look at both sides, so many battles are going to unfold there tonight. Deacon versus Lamb, Harris against Danny Orr. The list is endless.
Deacon gets us underway. It's a deep kick, and underneath it, the Wigan fullback Chris Radlinski, and a first touch for Brian Carney. He plays the ball quickly, and here comes Andrew Farrell. Good harassing though in defence by the Bradford Bulls, and leading the charge then was Yestin Harris. Good tackle low down by Robbie Paul, helped out by Stuart Fielden. Gareth Hock plays the ball quickly, and here is a key figure, Danny Orr, for the Wigan Warriors. I beg your pardon, that was Terry Newton, who is equally as key a figure as Danny Orr is. There's Newton again. Back it goes to Orr. And the big kick downfield in between Reardon and Vinacolo. It will bounce into the arms of Vinacolo. And the big fellow has a great run early. And oh, he loses the ball though. Huge blunder. Adrian Lamb swoops on it as you watch the head-to-head. And as you can see in Super League, it's pretty tight between these two. But not the start that Vinacolo wanted.
Neither the Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, he'll feel a little bit undone, because their defence was pretty solid. They weren't allowing Wigan much room, but they're giving it plenty of air.
They are, and this is Aspinwall, and he's hauled down 25 metres away from the Bradford post. Newton to Lamb, and here's Farrell on the run. And Farrell is wrestled to the ground just over the 20-metre mark.
Good ankle running as well. They're working hard for each other.
Lamb to O'Loughlin.
Good defence.
Yes, Logan Swan wouldn't be fooled by the dummy runner. Here is Danny Tickle. Last tackle here for Wigan, this set of 6. Adrian Lamb attacking the line, sliding the kick through. It's picked up by Reardon. Farrell following up, and they'll force him over the line in goal. And it's going to be a drop out under the sticks.
Tremendous defence there. Neat little kick through from Adrian Lamb. Reardon, tremendous positioning, but you can see there the ball carrying arm, and his momentum had not stopped.
Good start for Dennis Betts, the reigning coach of the month, and a little smile on his face. More pressure on this Bradford line. Lamb is underneath the dropout, gives it to Danny Tickle.
Tremendous atmosphere out there, and I'm sure Brian Noble realises that it's not going to be an easy walk in the park tonight, and he'll expect more defence like he's got there from the forwards, especially the big fella Joe Vangenaar.
And Fielden was in there pretty quickly as well. That's a great tackle low down by Hartley on Stephen Wild. Here now comes Sean O'Loughlin, the pass not the best. On two bounces though it finds Farrell. He gives it to Radlinski. It's all Wigan in the opening 2-3 minutes here at the JJB Stadium. Vangenaar and Fielden again in with the tackle. Newton waits at dummy half. They go right to the and Lamb changes the direction. Lamb flicks the pass. This is Newton. Newton standing, flicks it to Danny Orr. The call was from Farrell on the inside. Scrambling defence from Bradford, but Farrell is over under the sticks. And all the early pressure has paid off for the Wigan Warriors. Andrew Farrell gets the try for Wigan.
Unbelievable. That's all you can say about the ability of keeping this ball alive. I mentioned the fact that the Bradford Bulls were solid at the start of this game in their defence, but you just can't stop anything like that. It was wave after wave. Look at Lamb on through. They took the gamble back on the inside. Newton said, "Give it to me." Second effort there. Orr spins it round. What a call from the captain, and what a dummy. Stuart Fielden. Look at this. This is a kick through. All defence. It gave them the extra 6. And when you get consecutive sets of 6, you normally come up with something. And that something is 4 points that's surely going to be stretched to 6 with an easy kick right in front. Watch the dummy from Farrell. Here it goes underneath the sticks. They've gone absolutely bananas here at the JJB.
Andrew Farrell, the most prolific goal kicker and point scorer in the 9-year history of the Super League competition, has given Wigan Warriors the perfect start here. They lead by 6 points to 0.
Wow, what a start. You just felt that there was something special on show tonight. Oof. Big night for Houston Harris. He knows it's welcome back time. Not coming off the bench tonight. Hopefully he'll make the full 80 minutes.
So Bradford get us going away again with the kick from Deacon, and Radlinski collects it once again, gives it again to Carney, and Carney is crunched to the ground 12 metres away from his own line. Adrian Lamb, they go wide to Danny Tickle. Right, Andrew Farrell has put down a big marker here as a possible man of the match. Early, Dave Hadfield.
Well, Eddie, I think it's a big surprise to a lot of us that Houston Harris is starting this, but it sets up a fascinating matchup with Danny Orr. We've already seen some players who were rested last week by Wigan. Farrell, Newton, Gareth Hock looking fresh, rested and making a big impact. Against that, I thought Stuart Fielder and Jamie Peacock had the best matches for months last week, so I expect them to figure very prominently as well.
Thanks, Dave. We'll get the name of the man of the match. 5 minutes or so to go. Reardon. Wigan look really in the mood for this.
Beautiful hands there that gave the winger Brian Carney the opportunity. Good job that Vainicolo got back.
And did you notice who was leading the charge downfield? The prop forward Craig Smith. This now is Vangenaar.
It's amazing, you know, this Wigan outfit. Remember, a lot of people were criticising the standing coach Dennis Betts when Warrington took them apart. It looked as though Wigan was still going through the wobbles, but they have come back with sheer venom and quality at that.
Quality run from Chris Radlinski. Well, time for us to welcome our special guest this evening, Neil Kelly, formerly of course with the Widnes Vikings, enjoying the holiday, looking well, and what a match we've brought you to tonight.
Well, I've had a couple of weeks off, Eddie, forced I must add, but you know, this first 10 minutes has been electric from Wigan. Lots of mobility, lots of footwork, keeping the ball alive.
And here they come again with Newton, and he slips a brilliant pass to Dallas, and Dallas is over under the sticks. This is blistering stuff from the Wigan Warriors. Their climb back into grand final contention owes much to their peerless home form here. 100% from 8 in the Super League in 2004, and they're about to build a 12-0 lead in the opening 10 minutes against the reigning champions and the World Club champions from Bradford.
It's amazing, Eddie. Usually Bradford that really just crunch them, but this is wonderful play. The inside ball there to Danny Orr from the captain Andrew Farrell. It looked for a moment there, maybe Terry Newton was thinking about going on his own. Watch at the last moment. Orr knew he was there, tried to defend, and what a call. Dallas finishes off a remarkable set piece. Wonderful, wonderful pass from Newton. Sensational stuff.
Absolutely fabulous from Wigan, and Dallas, his 36th consecutive appearance, 12th try of the year. Well, it is academic for Andrew Farrell in front of the sticks. He punches the ball over the edge, and Wigan have a 12-0 lead here at the JJB Stadium.
Well, creating the gap as the inside pass. Look at that, there's only Robbie Paul in attendance. They failed to get back. They just run out of numbers. But what a final pass to this fella, Dallas.
Nothing short of sensational for Wigan. Let's get back to Neil Kelly. Neil, the last time Wigan played like this, you weren't enjoying it. You were on the sideline and on the receiving end with witness.
No, and
a quality side.
They executed all the things that they're doing now. They've got pace, they've got mobility, they can offload, they support well. I'm a little bit surprised at Bradford looking at their defensive line. They've got Robbie Paul, Yistin and Leon Price all defending together, all spot players for different reasons. And it's a big spot area for Wigan, and that's the area that they actually utilised for that last try.
What a start by Wigan then, and here is Farrell, who's been at the heart of it all.
The most amazing thing, you know, Dennis Betts selected Andrew Farrell in the prop position. He's been playing at prop for most of this season, just carting the ball up. Today, different tactics. Farrell is enjoying it. He's controlling things out there, taking the first man, not just bouncing the ball through into the defence, but he's being creative.
And they forced Reardon right up the middle there, and the trap was sprung by Gareth Hock. Interesting about Gareth Hock, he missed last week against Salford, an accident in his kitchen at home. Listen to this, he stabbed his hand while pricking the skin of a baked potato. A baked potato put Gareth Hock out of last week, but he's very much back in this. That's a great tackle by Sean O'Loughlin on Logan Swan. Well, look at that, perfect from Wigan.
And out of those 5 consecutive sets that pushed up the Farrell try, this is a big hole for the Bulls to get out of, but they're not the champions and the world champions for nothing.
Harris with a kick downfield, but it's a poor one straight into the arms of Radlinski. And Radlinski launches another Wigan attack. 40 metres from his own line.
Interesting that kick and chase. It was very poor indeed from Bradford. It's as though all the players just saw that kick from Harris and said, well, that's not a good one. No point in chasing. They waited for Radlinski to come to them.
Farrell again. Showed it to Danny Orr. He takes the tackle. Harris was there, so too Leon Price. Cleared to play in this match after an appeal. He was banned for a game on Wednesday rather, had the appeal. No, that's right, he was banned for a game on Tuesday, had the appeal on Wednesday, cleared to play, that's right. Orr with the kick through and behind the defence. Dallas is after this, Reardon though will get there first.
Oh, wobbled as well.
Great chase.
They're all at 6s and 7s, I'm afraid, Bradford. They're stunned, and I'm not surprised. That was a high one from Craig Smith. Silly play. Yeah, Bradford on the back foot.
And it was his namesake Andy Smith who felt the full weight of that.
And he did.
Just one thing to be careful when you're running the ball in. Let's make sure we keep that standing leg low. Okay, let's get him downstairs.
Just a little bit of a word of advice and caution there for Craig Smith about his running style, which has been highlighted once or twice in his career. 12-0, 12 minutes, point a minute. Phil Clark, great start.
Yeah, no, great teams, Eddie. They punish their opponents when they make a mistake, and Wigan have certainly done that. That handling mistake that Leslie Van Okello came up with early on when he ran to the touchline and lost possession. And all of a sudden, that penalty that Craig Smith can do could just be a turning point. It's got Bradford a chance of getting himself back into the game. It don't necessarily mean on the scoreboard they haven't had any good possession, and they haven't really been at this end of the field throughout the game, other than having to defend. Those two penalties now have got them up the field. We'll see what energy they've got now. They have the ball.
Fielden with a good drive in, but met rigorously by Newton and Farrell, and Fielden didn't like it from Newton, had a little push at him off the ball. Deacon had to stretch and get that. This is Anderson. First chance really that Bradford have been inside the Wigan 20, and there is a man down and hurt. It's Craig Smith as the ball bounces. Oh, it's a knock on. I thought that maybe went backwards, and Iestyn Harris is asking the question as well.
You, Eddie. He was knocked down as well. It's that new rule, isn't it? You're involved in the tackle. Tickle was involved there. I thought that should have been play on. Badly done to Iestyn Harris. It's going to take this guy quite a few weeks to slot right into it.
Well, he admitted as much on Boots and All on Wednesday night when he was in with Stuart Fielden. Craig Smith here receiving treatment, the New Zealand international. The last prop standing for Wigan, this fellow. It would be a huge problem. Terry O'Connor's out, Danny Sculthorpe's out. Andrew Farrell is filling in at prop forward. And Craig Smith, he's vital to the Wigan cause. I think he's got to come off. I think there's a problem here.
Looks like a cartilage problem as well. Cassidy will come into the fray.
He's no stranger to the prop forward role, of course. Mick Cassidy played there last week against Salford. Well, that's a big blow for Wigan.
Certainly is. That looks cartilage all the way, doesn't it? Though he's trotting.
There's Terry O'Connor in his testimonial year in the stands, watching on. He would love to be out there in the thick of the battle here, but broken arm keeps him out.
Well, the one thing about Terry O'Connor, the reason why I was smiling, because I knew that probably Mick Cassidy would have to go into the position up front.
Here's Farrell. The Wigan fans giving Mr. Smith a bit of the bird here because they claim that they're all offside at the play of the ball. I'm not sure. This is Cassidy.
Well, Wigan are just taking a bit of a breather. You know, dramatic start, 12 points up. Oh, not the best pass. They've got out of it though.
Radlinski under pressure gets the kick away. And here is Andy Smith. Good run from Andy Smith. Good tackle from Andy Farrell. Andy Smith, 20 years of age, another of the myriad of young guns who are emerging in the Super League these days.
Bradford quite content to use the big fellas.
Robbie Paul, it goes wide. And this is Logan Swan. He offloads again to his captain. Goes wide, he does to Harpy. And Stephen Wild after him. Terry Newton caught a bang there. Robbie Paul, Deacon, Radford, great tackle. Mick Cassidy, first tackle of the match from him. Copybook, Deacon, Harris, Leon Price, space for Leon Price here. Good pass. Peacock is over for Bradford. They are not the world champions for nothing, the Bradford Bulls. They were hit by a whirlwind, but they have got themselves back into the match here. And Craig Smith off, and Bradford in for the try.
Great
Peacock
work.
the scorer.
Great work from the centre, Leon Price. They thought he was going to step. Got the link going there. Watch him step here. Back on the inside. Oh, great pass. Peacock just hanging around in the best possible position. Watch the skill here. See how he just moved the ball across his body. Knew that he was going to pass back on the inside. And the Bulls are back.
They are. And Jamie Peacock, 3 tries now in 3 games for Jamie Peacock. Confirmation of that fact. Try against Wakefield 2 weeks ago. Try against Wakefield last week. Try the week before and a try here. Deacon now with the conversion attempt. 73 goals for Paul Deacon so far. He'd love this to be number 74. And 74 it is. Wigan 12, Bradford 6.
The use of the dummy runner, absolutely superb. See the defence just hesitated. It was sufficient to just put them off, back on the inside. Perfect pass. Great skill there by Leon Price to send the big fella over. Boy, did the Bradford side need that.
They did. The Bulls' last defeat was against Leeds at Odsal on the 5th of June. Wigan's last defeat was at Warrington on the 28th of May. That's a nasty bounce, and Anderson picks it up on his own line, picks out Aspinwall to run at, and without help from Danny Orr, the big man is grounded. Andy Smith coming down the blind side, hoping to catch Wigan on the back foot. Leon Price, Robbie Paul, try scorer Peacock, trying to spin away out of trouble.
Basic rugby league, that's all the Bulls have to do now. They haven't had much of the possession. Therefore, they've just got to grind it out, make sure that they get into a good position. But what a fend!
Great fend by Bradford. Oh, he's lost the ball though.
Or was it knocked out? He's lost it again. Play on. Tit for tat on that occasion. The fullback Reardon looking for the gap. Bradford did well, then lost it. Was it knocked out by Stephen Wild? It makes no difference. The Bulls come up with possession. This is hot enough. This is going to be a classic, I'm sure.
It is. And here is Harris. That's a great ball to Peacock. And he almost gets away from Cassidy. Gets the ball away to Robbie Paul. It goes in field to Reardon. Reardon offloads to Paul. They have men on the overlap. This is Logan Swan. Gets it away to Price. It goes wide. Everybody's in touch. On that far side, Shontaine Harpy was in touch. And there is a Wigan man down injured. It's Adrian Lamb.
Great work there, good upper body strength from Brian Carney, it had to be. There's no chance that Shontaine Harpy was going any further. Right over the whitewash. Which look on the face of Brian Noble. He knows that opportunities are going to come very rarely tonight.
And this is another blow for Wigan with Lamb.
You can see there, he got fended off, and I think maybe the leg just doubled in.
And I think they're asking for a stretcher. I think they've just signalled that they need a stretcher to get Adrian Lamb off the field. Let's get down to Bill.
That's right, Eddie, the stretcher just coming on in actual fact, although I suspect Adrian Lamb might just be able to get to his feet. Whether he can continue is a different matter altogether. The news of Craig Smith, who's already come off with a knee problem for Wigan Warriors, is that his injury isn't quite so serious. He's just caught the right knee, just pinched it, according to the physio. That's iced up at the moment. It's going to get strapped up, and they're hoping that he'll be able to come back on, but not so certain that that'll be the case with Adrian Lamb.
No, and there is a debate going on between Mr. Fielden and Mr. Farrell.
It's a pleasant one.
It is. They're probably talking about what they'll do in the Tri-Nations, and maybe Stuart Fielden laying down the challenge for the go-karting.
Well, I thought for one moment
he was talking about that on Wednesday.
I thought they were comparing noses. I think Andy's just got it by a couple of votes.
Well, we have a New Zealand representative there, a Great Britain representative, or 2 or 3 there as well, or 4 or 5. The Tri-Nations at the end of this domestic season, something a lot of people are looking forward to.
I'm putting my neck on the line. Great Britain will win it.
Well, Adrian Lamb has got the leg absolutely immobilised, and he had a knee reconstruction, I think, on that knee last year.
Well, Reardon just pushed him away, and he went right over on the ankle. Watch the fend, and that's it. Just buckled right underneath him. Could be the knee problem as well that we've seen from Craig Smith. Well, that is another bitter blow to the Warriors.
Indeed so, because Lamb and Danny Orr have been forming quite a partnership in the engine room of this Wigan side. Now they have a problem, Wigan. How will they cover his absence? Well, Mark Smith is coming on, and probably Danny Orr. will move to scrum half.
Well, you'd think that's what would occur.
Well, after the start they made, Wigan must have thought they were going to coast this, but Bradford have dug in deep, and a couple of injury blows to Wigan. Suddenly it's not going the Warriors' way, Neil Kelly.
Well, it's the one thing that can undermine Wigan's charge towards the playoffs. They've got a fragile injury list at the moment. They've got Terry O'Connor out, Danny Sculthorpe out. They can't afford to lose players of Lamb and Smith's calibre, and it must be worrying. You know, you'd almost let this game go by rather than have the injuries.
Absolutely, and I was thinking about it. I think I read on the internet this week that Luke Robinson has extended his stay at Castleford until the end of the season. Now, I assume that's a loan arrangement, and if Wigan wished, they could bring him back, couldn't they?
Well, what you find is with a loan arrangement, for the first month it's permanent for the whole month, and after that you can recall them generally at 24 to 48 hours notice.
Well, if Lamb's injury is as serious as it appears as he came off the field, it might not only be bad news for Wigan, it could be very bad news for Castleford.
It's a conundrum, isn't it? And it's
speculation, of course, Steve. Well, that's all.
Of course. But I'm with you. If they do lose Adrian Lamb for any length of time, they need somebody. He's a quality player, Robinson. A lot of people were surprised when the Wigan club allowed him to go.
Bradford coming into this now more and more. This is Peacock. Last tackle though, good defensive stint here from Wigan. Robbie Paul. And Harris under pressure from Mark Smith, gets the kick in. Better this time, Radlinski had to move off the line, pick it up and then gives it to Brian Carney. And Carney was almost through.
That amazes me, you know, that Brian Noble has given the responsibility to Justin Harris. Remember, the kicking game from Paul Deacon's pretty good. And I just can't understand why they've given added responsibility to Justin Harris.
Mark Smith, halted by Peacock and Anderson, right on the halfway line. He plays it to Terry Newton. This is Danny Orr. Mick Cassidy. Good run from Cassidy, his 360th appearance of a one-club career at Wigan. And the kick over the top is going to have to be run back by Reardon. Oh, he took the gamble. Oh, and he's not only that, he has come up trumps.
Oh, there's another problem.
Terry Newton is limping away from that.
Well, he launched himself there at Reardon. Watch him come through, and there he just does the splits, and that could be another knee problem. They've got it out wide.
This is Harpy. He's looked over his shoulder and was looking for Leslie Vinacolo. The big man had moved inside. Logan Swan, the dummy half. Infield it comes to Paul Deacon. He gives it to Anderson. That's a great tackle from Cassidy.
The only way to get a big fella down, go straight for the ankles. His weight alone will pull him forward.
Logan Swan again. Wrapped up by two, Wild and O'Loughlin.
Now then, we haven't seen a good kicking game so far from either side.
Deacon over the top, and Radlinski positioned himself perfectly.
It was a poor kick, Eddie, as well.
Good run though, becoming a great run, and he gives it infield to Dallas.
Would have picked a better option, I feel, than running straight into the big frame of Anderson.
Brian Carney has been itching to get back into the Super League action.
It's been good tactics by Wigan. They've done a lot of running from dummy half.
Mark Smith again. Newton waits dummy half, appears to have run whatever the problem was off. This is Cassidy.
Big responsibility from the substitute Mark Smith now.
Farrell again. Offloads to Danny Orr, and Danny Orr is tackled by Lee Radford.
Well, it's amazing. In 22 minutes of this game, I think Andy Farrell has offloaded more times than I've seen him in a month.
Reardon collects the kick and sets off on a run. And he's saying that every one of the Wigan players were inside the 10. They have to give the man who catches the ball 10 metres. Mind you, I thought that Reardon had then run a good 10 metres, but still.
Well, they are offside. And they pull off him. And really nobody touches him. I thought it was... you know, if you hang off.
Well, the referee did say to Andy Farrell then, I heard him say there's no advantage to him if he has to arc around them all in his own 10-metre area. This is Iestyn Harris. Great ball, Harpy. Good tackle. Quick play the ball. Vainicolo. Danger for Wigan. Danger for Wigan. Great pass. Harris. Deacon.
Super play there. Vintage Harris, wasn't it?
Lee Radford. Robbie Paul. Harris again. Fielden. 4 tackles gone. Can Wigan survive this onslaught? Harris getting more and more involved. A little stumble and clattered by Cassidy. Robbie Paul. Deacon. Stabbed to the in-goal area. Oh, could be a try for Vainicolo here. No. Referee says knocked on. Doesn't go to the video ref.
How's that for confidence from the official Russell Smith? He lost it. He was in a great position.
Spot on, Russell Smith.
Look at that there. That's why he's one of the best, you know, Russell Smith. Like all referees, he gets criticised. A fair share of that myself, but you've got to applaud a man that puts himself in a position knowing that the kick was going to come through.
Phil Clark, we have a battle royal.
We certainly do. You know, my mind goes back to the game between Leeds and Hull, and you've got 2 top teams here. And I think at this level you probably need 17 players over 80 minutes if you're going to want to compete. And I just think that since Wigan have lost Lamb and Craig Smith, the game's probably just flowing against them, but they have some quality to come back there. Bradford knew when they signed Iestyn Harris that they'd taken on board a creative player with good ball skills. I suppose they weren't going to be sure what sort of effect it would have on the players around him. I just think at this stage it's had a very positive one on Leon Price. He was impressive in the first half last week, and the work he did to create that try earlier on was equally so.
It's a good kick from Radlinski, and this is Andy Smith. Oh, he ran straight over the top of Radlinski. What a talent this young man looks. Non-playing sub at Wakefield last week, named in the 17 though for the last 5, grabbing his chance on the wing. Because they have so many injuries and suspensions at Bradford at the moment in the 3-quarter line. You need the young guns to come forward, and Brian Noble looks like he might have unearthed another young one here to watch.
And he's eager as well, Eddie. He's a big lad, Andy Smith. There's only one way to go forward.
Harris, the kick is in the middle of the field. There was no Radlinski, so Aspinwall picks it up.
Here's the problem for Radlinski as well, is limping back.
Yes.
He is a long way from that line of defence. There he is, just to the right-hand side of your screen. Well, the one thing that Dennis Betts does not want is to lose another player, especially the calibre of Chris Radlinski. This is going to be like a chess game, this.
Smelling salts for Radlinski, maybe a bang on the head. Great ball, and it's Carney. Carney. Clark. Farrell, good number 13. Clark, not a bad number 13. Farrell.
Great play from Newton. Ooh, not a bad kick either.
Bradford have it back. Logan Swan was going in where the boots were flying. Reardon's away. Reardon, of course, man of the match in the grand final against Wigan last year.
Not a bad little effort there from Danny Tickle. Just a little chip over the top. I must say that, and then you just mentioned Stuart Reardon is having to work overtime. They put him under a lot of pressure.
Fielden. Wigan injury news, Bill.
Well, Craig Smith is out on the sideline, just limping slightly. That right knee heavily strapped, but it looks as though he's ready to come back on. I'm not so sure it's going to be the case with Adrian Lamb. The word from the Wigan physio Alan Tomlinson is turning out to have a very busy night tonight.
Oh, Carney did well, but he lost that. This is going to be 6 to go. Now then, did Radlinski knock the ball out? Will they play the first knock on? I think they will. Oh, it's Wigan's head and feet.
I think he may have got that wrong. It looked for all the world a try. Good work by Brian Carney. It had to be.
Carney's actually, his fumble went backwards.
Yeah, the impact. I don't know where they got the knock on from there. If anything, it would have come off. Not happy, Brian Nabel. He's every right to feel that. This is a game of missed opportunities, I'm sure. But you just feel that when either side get the ball, they're getting through the half break. Solid defence at the start of this match.
Oh, and he's pinched it, Iestyn Harris. He pinched the ball off Sean O'Loughlin then, easy. Leon Price, Andy Smith. Sorry, Bill, back to you again.
Adrian Lamb, it looks like a medial ligament problem on that left knee. They're not so sure that he's going to be able to get back, and that would be a major blow for Wigan Warriors.
It might be. This is Vainicolo. Oh, what a ball to Logan Swan. And they are in again, Bradford. Scores are going to be level in a minute. Try is given. Vainicolo just looped that ball over the top of the defender and dropped it into the arms of Logan Swan. And Logan Swan has scored for Bradford, and it's going to be 12-all in a tick.
This is where Harris pinches the ball away from the loose forward, Sean O'Loughlin. One-on-one, quick thinking there by the Welsh standoff, and they got the numbers out wide. Beautiful pass from Deacon to send the big fella away. Carney, I feel there, has paid the price of not making the impact into the tackle, trying to grab the shirt and pull the big fella over the touchline.
Wigan fans booing. They think that the pass from Vainicolo was forward.
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's okay, I'm sure.
Referee had a good look at the touch, judge, you might have seen there. And again, before he gave the try.
The big problem is that, as I say, Brian Carney, instead of going to the impact and try to push Vainicolo, I know he's a big winger, it's not easy to put over the sideline, but to try to go for his shirt, which left both hands free, hence the try. They paid the price.
And Deacon to add the extras here as Farrell berates his players. The scores are level, and Bradford, having conceded 12 points in the opening 7, have come back with tries from Peacock and Logan Swan. And Iestyn Harris, well, he's marking his return, isn't he, to the Super League? That was a very important steal. And Logan Swan, the try scorer. Well, that's the quality that Brian Noble thought he was getting when they prized Iestyn Harris back to rugby league, away from the clutches of others. And Harris underneath the kickoff gives it to Stuart Fielden.
It's a dodgy time now for Wigan. They really can't just hang on. They've got to be confident like they've shown so far. But the one thing that Bradford are doing now, they're prizing out, they're finding gaps on the left-hand side.
Logan Swan, and there is Craig Smith back on the field. Here's Leon Price, tackled by Tickle and Farrell.
Bit of hesitation.
Fumble there, no knock on. Harris again standing deep, getting more and more involved, giving it to Peacock. Last tackle here for Bradford. Robbie Paul Deacon. A kick through, good kick, measured kick. Oh, and a little bit of hesitancy in the Wigan defence before they finally tidied it up, and here comes Radlinski. Gets as far as Peacock.
Beautiful dink through there by Paul Deacon, created all sorts of havoc. They were very slow to respond with the Wigan defence.
Tickle again for Wigan. Gets to the 40-metre mark. Newton, and here is Mark Smith, and Harris is after a one-on-one steal again. Witness the last team to win here, 22-18 last July. It was probably the result that brought to an end the reign of Stuart Raper. We're on the last tackle. O'Loughlin with a crossfield kick. That's easy enough for Andy Smith.
Not surprisingly, they're applying that pressure to the winger, but he's stood up well as the youngster Andy Smith.
Reardon, 22 years of age, England A international, waiting to take the step for Great Britain. There's Andy Smith, just feeling the ankle.
been a ferocious pace, this, hasn't it, Eddie? And it's that's a bit of a slap there from Hock.
Referee saw it as that as well.
Get up.
Fielden was looking for the penalty there. This is Leon Price. Last tackle, they're on halfway, Bradford. Robbie Paul, Deacon gets the ball away to Reardon somehow. Still the last. Robbie Paul will get the kick in. Not played at. Offside. No, turnover.
Accidental.
And now Fielden concedes the penalty for petulance in kicking the ball away.
That's silly. There's one problem that Bradford have had this season. It's their inability to stop giving away penalties, and silly penalties, by talking to the officials. We saw last week, didn't we, against Wakefield? They allowed Wakefield a little bit of a time when they made it rough and tough for them, and all they did was a lot of the players started arguing with the officials.
Gareth Hawke, good run from Hawke, gets the ball away. Dallas couldn't take it in, and he gave that up. Reardon has it back for Bradford, and he's lost it.
That's play on. Oh, that was not a knock on. He pulled it back.
He's taking it back for the first knock on by Dallas.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a knock on, it came off his feet.
And he's in a good position there, Russell Smith. Not a surprise. We're talking about making the point, and that's what Andy Farrell is doing. You just get the feeling that both sides now just getting a bit ruffled. Lack of concentration.
Neil Kelly, the match is finally balanced.
It's finally balanced, but you know, you've got to take your hat off to the Bulls. They've suffered that early shock, 12 points down in as many minutes, and they've gradually clawed their way back into this game. Interesting with Easton, you know, everybody was interested to watch him last weekend. I think we're a little bit worried about the lateral running that he used in that game. He's really taking the line on this evening and getting a lot of reward for it.
Craig Smith offloads, risky business, but Terry Newton retains possession for the Wigan Warriors. Sean O'Loughlin's in there at dummy half. And this is Mark Smith.
Well, you've got to admire the way that Wigan are still trying to keep this ball alive. It brought them 2 tries in that opening 12 minutes.
Gareth Hawke just bounces off Anderson there. This is Dallas. And Dallas straightens it up. Leon Price gets to him. Good job he was there. That's a penalty.
Yeah. And it could be in the bin, you know. That is a professional foul. Brian Noble knows it too. Now then, will they go for the 2? I think they will.
Danny Orr has pointed at the sticks, even though he's not the captain. He's all over the back of Dallas. The referee had no alternative, and so Farrell will have a shot at goal. Phil Clark, these could be a very important couple of points for the Wigan Warriors.
You're right, Eddie. I think you could divide the first half into 2, really. Wigan's early dominance and then the comeback from Bradford. But just in these last few minutes, full of handling mistakes, really, and a lack of ability to complete a set and get a deep kick on the back of it, really, has allowed Wigan to play inside the Bradford half. And I just think as the game goes on, and if Wigan can live with the power that Bradford have in the middle, then Terry Newton's going to become even more important as the game progresses.
Andrew Farrell injured his nose against Widnes again. Has knocked over a couple of goals tonight already, so he's standing on 60 goals for the season now, 62 pointers. And this should be 61. And Wigan have a 2-point lead on the stroke of half-time, 14-12.
And they are the vital 2 points as well. Wigan knows it. Dennis Betts, coached us too. And Noble, the Bradford coach, will say, well, I'm pleased with the way that we fought back. But with the injuries that have hit Wigan, Dennis Betts must be a worried man at the moment.
Doesn't look it though, does he? He doesn't give any hint about his feelings, Dennis Betts. But with the likes of Lamb off and probably, according to Bill, not coming back, and Craig Smith playing almost on one leg.
Well, it's not the facial expression that counts, Eddie, it's what's inside. You should know that.
2-2 half-time. These two sides have, in their history, always had something special just before half-time in their armoury. It's Wigan's attempt here to find something now, as Farrell carries the ball forward again, stopped by Robbie Paul. Aspinwall. Paul misses him. Next two don't.
But both sides would be happy to hear that half-time hooter.
Craig Smith, brave effort from him.
It's been a solid game, hasn't it? The first 40. Superb from both sides.
A minute and 20 remaining as Danny Orr puts this little grubber kick in. Radlinski's after it. Orr picks it up himself. They have men on the overlap here. This is Aspinwall. Back it goes. Danny Orr. And he loses it. Play on. Did he go the wrong way? Oh, that's a risky pass.
Why did they try to offload anyway? Well, it went all over the shop. It was a neat little option there from Danny Orr.
Forward pass.
Oh, this is a golden opportunity now.
Logan Swan's pass out wide to Shantaine Harpy, drifted forward, according to the touch judge.
And he's thrown the ball away as well. They're taking their time, but they'll have to form the scrum. Russell Smith is experienced. Dennis Betts is on his way down to the dressing rooms.
Time off, please.
Call time off with 24 seconds remaining.
It's got to be a planned move. They can't mess around, either a kick and chase.
This is O'Loughlin, and there it is for Radlinski. Well done, Andy Smith. Very well done, Andy Smith in defence. It was worth the gamble. Harris. Last 5 seconds of the first half. Leon Price. Wigan fans booing him, not for the fact that he's here and he's beaten the ban earlier in the week, but remember the slam dunk he had on Brian Carney in the grand final last year. Their memories are long. Half-time siren, a corking match. Worthy of its billing at the top of the Tetley Super League. There's only 2 points between them at the break. Wigan, they started like a house on fire, then they had a couple of crucial injuries, and Iestyn Harris became more and more involved in the match. Farrell and Dallas with early tries in the opening 7 for Wigan. But then, after those injuries to Lamb and Craig Smith, Peacock and Swan, and we have the Farrell penalty goal that separates the two at half-time. What a belter.
August, there's more.
He couldn't have scripted it any better.
As the race begins. Some of the biggest names in the world. In the most exciting league in the world. The Premiership, this August on Sky Sports.
Worried about viruses? With Wanadu, our security packages can offer protection whenever you're online. Whatever you want to do.
Basically, it grabbed me and took hold of me. Cancer spreads and it develops fast. My lung was infested with a tumour. I was told that it was malignant. I have had to have a major operation and they have taken the lung away. And this is all due to smoking. That white little stick that you put in your mouth. And at 34, you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't be going through this.
If you want to stop smoking, call 0800 169 0169.
All over South America, this gesture means everything's okay. Apart from Brazil, where it's rather rude. We never underestimate the importance of local knowledge. HSBC, the world's local bank.
Bev!
Kev! Bev!
Kev? Bev? Kev?
Bev! Kev!
With an AA car loan, the typical APR is just 6.6%. So you might surprise yourself with what you can afford.
Nice car.
Thanks! We used to have one of those.
To get more car for your money, call the AA on 0800 374 999 or visit theaa.com. Call now and you could also get a free AA car inspection.
At Halfords, we always aim to go the extra mile. Taking car entertainment. We've a huge choice, top brands and lots of great savings. Like over a third off this JVC CD player. It's an MP3 player too, and it's down to under £130. Better yet, we'll fit it for you free. That's over £34 worth of expert fitting free. Halfords, we go the extra mile.
You're up to 4 times more likely to give up smoking when you use your local NHS Stop Smoking service with NRT. Call 0800 169 0169.
5.
The amazing new Thunderbirds movie is about to be launched.
4.
And you can get a free family ticket for 4 to see it.
3.
By visiting your local Ford dealer right now.
2.
And test driving any new Ford.
1.
Be one of the first to see it. You won't want to miss it.
Thunderbirds are go.
The ultimate battle.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Is one of strength.
An unstoppable bull.
And honor.
Whose nerve will hold?
When the feared
Anderson.
Meet the fearless.
Great try.
And heroes are born.
This is the moment for long. He's digged in.
It's the agony.
Oh, the tears will flow.
And the ecstasy.
There are scenes of joy on this field.
Of the grand final.
The grand final on Saturday, October the 16th. And if you need any information about it, it will be live on Sky Sports, of course. But other than that, ring the Rugby Football League on 0113 2329 111. They'll be open first thing on Monday morning, and that is also the information number for the upcoming Tri-Nation series at the end of the domestic programme. More live football from the Copa America. It's the quarterfinals now as teams battle it out for a place in the semis. Saturday night from 10, Peru take on Argentina, followed by Colombia against Costa Rica. On Sunday evening from 8, it's the third quarterfinal, Paraguay against Uruguay, and then it's on to Mexico against Brazil, and all of that is on Sky Sports 1. Half-time here at the JJB Stadium in Wigan, and the Warriors ahead by 14 points to 12 against the champions from Bradford. What a terrific match we've seen in the opening half. Andrew Farrell is on his feet and making the speech. Dennis Betts is waiting his moment. Wigan started blisteringly. They were 12 up in 7 minutes. Then Adrian Lamb and Craig Smith were injured. Craig Smith has returned. Bradford saw their opportunity and they were in. They got 2 tries themselves. And it's only the boot of Andrew Farrell that separates the two teams at this half-time interval. And Brian Noble is having his say in there as well. We're seeing 2 of the top 6 here, and they are producing a match to remember. The first 40 minutes tight as a drum, only the boot of Andy Farrell separating the two sides. Neil Kelly, the former coach of the Widnes Vikings, is alongside us. What a way to come back to the Super League, Neil, with this one.
It's a fantastic game, and it's been dictated by possession. The teams that have had it, it's stating the obvious, but the teams that have had it have scored tries, put pressure on the opposition. You know, we saw in the first 10-15 minutes Wigan totally dominated the game, got 12 points up. All credit to Bradford. You know, they They probably needed a bit of ill discipline from the Wigan side to get themselves out of that period, and when they did get that period, that opportunity, they've worked their way back up to the Wigan line and scored tries themselves. And you know, it is stating the obvious, but the side in this second half that gets the bulk of the possession, the lion's share of the possession, will win this game.
How disruptive do you think those two injuries were to the Wigan cause at that stage?
Very disruptive. More so Adrian Lamb. Obviously Craig Smith's returned to the field, but Adrian Lamb is not the biggest player in the world, obviously, but to me is the player that oils the Wigan engine. He's there if there's an offload, he's there to pick out the right pass behind it, moves people around, his kicking game's astute. You know, is a massive loss for Wigan, I believe.
8 minutes of the match gone, Wigan were 12-0 up. It looked like a one-horse race, but Steve-O, Bradford Bulls are the world champions, they are Super League champions, and they've proved it here.
Yeah, they certainly have. They dug deep. They had to as well. But full credit to this Wigan outfit because the tactics were absolutely superb. You know, for most of this season, Andy Farrell has been utilised as a prop. In fact, he was selected tonight to play that position in the prop forward, but he hasn't played like a prop. It was this good defence. Pressure on the fullback Stuart Reardon, and this was their first consecutive sets of 6. Newton, who's been a real menace, back on the inside. They looked for the man, and they were running the angles. Look how they work hard for each other. Beautiful stuff here, Farrell. They really got to him. And it wasn't long after before it was Farrell yet again. The creative man back on the inside, the combination with Orr. Newton yet and yet again, and Dallas. They were blitzed, were Bradford. And then the injuries started to go through. Craig Smith left the field of play, and it was Price. Brilliant stuff. Look at the step and the dummy. Peacock just went straight over, and we knew we were in for a great game. And then the kick from Deakin. Vinacolo, oh, it just bobbled all over the joint. Couldn't get it down. Knock on. Didn't have to go to the screen. Russell Smith in fine form. And then the pinch from Harris. Absolutely wonderful. Slowly but surely Harris has got into this game, showed some neat touches, and then when they got the ball out wide, now watch for Brian Carney. He tries to go for the shirt. He really should have gone for the legs. Try to swing him through, back on the inside, and not surprisingly Swan makes it. Well, level up the score there, as Eddie has mentioned. Only the goal kicking from Andy Farrell separates these sides. I think that both sides looked very, very tired. They looked as though they were gasping. I'm not surprising. The pace has been absolutely wonderful, and it's what they've got in the tank that will win this game.
Probably half-time's come at the right time for both of them then. And Steve-O just pointing the finger at Brian Carney, saying he should have gone for Leslie Vinacolo's legs. Phil Clark, I wouldn't fancy that job, would you?
I think everybody who plays in Super League just thinks they'll do whatever they can to try and stop him. I don't know if Brian Carney could actually get his arms around his legs, that they are that big. But even if he had, then he'd still had his arms free to offload the ball. Pretty special player. I think Wigan's current confidence, though, really has helped them overcome the loss of Adrian Lamb and Craig Smith. And this early mistake by Vinacolo took Wigan, well, it took Bradford rather 12 minutes to recover from. Eventually they did, and players like Andy Smith, with a couple of strong runs, and later on that Stuart Reardon, I thought really helped the Bradford side. Everyone talks about Bradford's forwards and the dominance they give, but very often it's the backs, and we looked at Vicona and Vinacolo in the past, the two young players here who've helped them get out of trouble and take the ball forward, and that early platform's helped them really. I think both sides will feel that they can play a lot better in the second half, and it's up to the side which does that the most really, which will go on and win the game. The other aspect that Steve has touched on, poor kicking game on most occasions from both sides. They'll want to just tidy that area up. Great second half in store.
Indeed, so be a brave man to try and tip the winner here of this particular match, and it would be a brave man to tip who's going to win the Man of the Match award and go home tonight with the watch. Andrew Farrell put down an early mark with his very early try in goal, but Bradford have fought back. They've come back like the true champions that they are. So who's going to win? In the second half, the match is there for the taking. There's only 2 points between these two fine sides. Remember, they're 4th and 5th in the table. This could be a rehearsal for Old Trafford.
Have you ever noticed how some companies seem to spend more effort chasing new customers than taking care of the ones they've already got?
You won't regret joining our league.
Free this, introductory that, join now, win a trip to the moon.
Oh, it's beautiful, Mike, it really is.
Why should new customers get a complimentary umbrella while everyone else just gets wet? Well, from now on, BT with BT Together are offering UK weekend and evening calls for just 5.5p for a whole hour. And not just to the Johnny-come-latelys, but to their most important customers of all. Every single one of them.
They call it throat cancer. They've come in and removed my voice box before they did this. They found out I got lung cancer as well. And the future plans right now are Alexander, my oldest, is coming over here for a holiday December 13th. I will be alive for that.
Call 0800 169 0169.
Teatro Greco, Taormina, Sicily. No power, no plugs, no wires. What a perfect place to connect. Because with a laptop powered by Centrino, Intel's mobile technology, you can put on quite a show wirelessly from your own private amphitheater. Intel Centrino mobile technology.
Now you know me, I've always liked them nice and big, and they don't come much bigger than the Sun's fantastic new 88-page TV mag. It's stuffed with gossip from the soaps, a massive 6-page-a-day listing section, a 7-page movie section, and loads more of your favourite features. And starting this Saturday, their Holidays for £9.50 offer is back too. Oh, I can't wait for the paperboy to stick one through my letterbox. Don't miss the free new TV mag and Holidays from £9.50, only inside tomorrow's Sun.
Bye, bye, baby. Remember you're my baby.
Drink Evian from high in the French Alps. Evian, Livion.
The new S-Type twin-turbo diesel, another high-performance car from Jaguar.
You're up to 4 times more likely to give up smoking when you use your local NHS Stop Smoking service with NRT. Call 0800 169 0169.
Something is about to happen. Something is about to happen.
More rugby league for you on Sky Sports this weekend. A cracker from the KC Stadium tomorrow, Saturday at 6. Hull against Saints, 2nd and 3rd at the table at the moment. It's live on Sky Sports 1. And as usual, we have 2 from Australia coming up for you. The live match Saturday 10:30 Sky Sports 3 is Wests and Melbourne. And on Sunday also 10:30 Sky Sports 3 Newcastle Brisbane, plus all the other tries scored. So Bradford are out, Wigan are keeping them waiting. Wigan are ahead by 14 points to 12 after a magnificent first half from the very peak of the Tetley Super League. Iestyn Harris has punctuated his return with one or two traditional swervy little runs, little jinks. And he made the important pinch, of course, that led to one of the Bradford tries. But it's the Wigan crowd who are hoping their men can push on and win this match in the second half. They've won their last 15. That's including cup ties and playoff matches here at the JJB Stadium in the past 12 months. Four defeats and a draw for Bradford from 18 so far. More worryingly, they have lost to Leeds twice. They've been beaten at home by Hull and at St Helens. So this, if they do go on and win this match, would be a significant victory for the champions.
Certainly would, but it's not going to be easy, and they know it. Wigan, of course, they've got to push the injury problems to the back of their minds, though I did notice that Andy Smith, the youngster for Bradford on the wing, he hobbled off at half-time, and when he's restarted, he looked as though he was still carrying a leg injury. This has been one bruising battle.
It has, and there was a very early lesson about the Super League for Iestyn Harris. Do not let the ball bounce, because it bounced by him on the kick-off, and, well, it was a hurried and scurrying Iestyn Harris that picked up the possession for Bradford right on his own try line. Bradford then with first use of the ball, start of this second half. This is Rob Parker. He's featured in every game so far this season. Just 7 starts though. And now it's Lee Radford operating it loose forward, and it's a good offload there to Robbie Paul, to find Deacon. Deacon then to Reardon, and there's space for Stuart Reardon to exploit. And Reardon, and they're hurling up behind him. Robbie Paul is there, Leon Price is there, and a great tackle. Wonderful tackle by Brett Dallas. That's a try saver, but for how long? Reardon stabs the kick in, and Dallas is there again to point the ball clear.
What an effort from the winger Brett Dallas, but what a run from the fullback Stuart Reardon. Just left them for dead, didn't he, back on the inside. Robbie Paul did ever so well, but not as well as the winger there. Then he comes to the rescue. Look how he puts himself in a good position. Bang, let's get out of here. This will be the drop-off. Interesting in late in that first half, it was amazing to say that Bradford, they were pinpointing Stephen Wild. They're coming down the Wigan right-hand side, Bradford's left.
That's one behind the line, Wigan. One goal line drop out apiece now. And Bradford with the second set of 6, start of this second half. It's with Radford. Wild gets him to the ground. But Bradford are just 22 metres away from the Wigan line. It's Robbie Paul. Here is Stuart Fielden. Offload straight to O'Loughlin.
Just hesitated there, did Robbie Paul. The Bull skipper really wanted to be a little bit quicker. Anticipation.
Great offload from Farrell to Carney.
Great to see the way that these two Wigan wingers, Dallas and Carney, they always look. When there's a bit of a changeover, it's good tactics. When the ball's turned over, is the wingers come in, either going to dummy half or take their first receiver.
They're offloading well, Wigan. This is Aspinwall keeping the ball alive. Craig Smith. And he gets away from 2 and gets over halfway. Good run from the former New Zealand international. 3 tackles gone, 33 metres made by Wigan. Newton finds O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin gives it to Stephen Wild. He thought about the pass wide to Carney, took the tackle instead. O'Loughlin from dummy half finds Farrell, and Farrell will attack the line, pops it back then.
Looking for the angle runner there. It was Hock that came through.
It was. Gareth Hock plays it to Newton. Here is Danny Orr, stab kick in, and there's chances here, and the ball has dropped, and Aspinwall has touched down. I think there'll be a knock-on though going against Brett Dallas. Aspinwall has scored, but look, there are no celebrations for Wigan. I think Dallas definitely attacks the football.
They're all onside, that's the main thing. Danny Orr certainly got the kick away, and it bounced all over. Andy Smith, pretty slow to get to it. Now then, did he get a hand to it? I think he did.
Well, he contested it.
Certainly did. Yeah, I think there'll be a knock-on. It'll be a turnover. I think it was on the last. Now then, Now then, as it drops, it certainly was touched first by Andy Smith. There you see it gets back. Now, is it Andy Smith that rips the ball away? If that's the case, that's what he's looking for. Aspinwall could be awarded the try.
Well, it'll be contentious if Wigan are given this.
Certainly will, but Andy Smith certainly had touched the ball first.
But I think that Dallas also got a fingertip to it.
So do I. I'm going no try, but the way the video referee was looking at it, he's the boss.
Let's see. It isn't a try, and it's a 20-metre restart for Bradford. Well, I think Dennis Betts will have to agree they got that one right. Terry O'Connor's on the sideline, missing this match and missing quite a bit of the Super League season because of injury. He's with Bill.
Terry Warrior's just ahead, but this is anybody's game at the moment.
Yeah, both teams started very well second half. We started well first half, got a quick start, 12 points, and Bradford got back into the game. Second half started exactly the same. We just had obviously a try disallowed, but the lads look really up for it. They've been up for it all week.
No sign of Adrian Lang coming back. It looks as though that knee injury has finished him for this evening. It's a big disruption, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been playing really well. He's been clicking with Danny Orr. I thought he's been outstanding tonight. He guides us around the pitch, and it's going to be a big blow.
Big weekend for you, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got to do one tomorrow at the Palace Hotel. I've got Dave Spikey event coming up on the 30th of August. So quite looking forward to it, mate.
So a win here would be just round things off nicely for you.
Yeah, we don't want to see any long faces tomorrow night, so we're looking forward to it. And can I say next time, I don't mind talking to you, Bill, but can you stop trying to grab me bum?
Terry O'Connor with Bill Arthur and Brian Noble watching as his men get Wigan trapped in goal. It was risky business. Radlinski
certainly was
given a hopeless task.
But it was a beautiful weighted kick, wasn't it? Oh, good work from Leon Price there. Made sure there was no chance of a second offload. Another dropout.
Can Bradford make this possession pay? Fielden.
Well, he's certainly utilising the forwards very well indeed. He's working overtime is Stuart Fielden. Once they get to position, you get to see a little inside run from the dummy half from Robbie Paul. He's been quite happy just to feed the ball out wide.
There's a little run, and he brings it back on the inside to Vinacolo. He's unstoppable. No, he isn't. That's a great tackle, Radlinski. Robbie Paul. Oh, Carney went for the interception.
That'll be head and feet to Wigan, to Bradford. I think Brian Noble knows it as well. No, not the time and place to go for an intercept. If he'd have missed that, it would have been an easy try for Shontaine Harpy. Just a touch, it's sufficient. More pressure. It's going to be difficult for Wigan to keep them out here.
Yes, yet another set of six, and it's with Leslie Vinacolo. They have to muscle up in defence when he's coming at them.
As I say, the only way to stop him is go for those ankles. They've done it on 2 occasions.
Deacon wide to Logan Swan. Great flick pass. This is Jamie Langley. Dump ball to Harpy. Great try. Great try, Shontaine Harpy. All the pressure from Bradford tells. And Bradford hit the front. First time tonight. A round dozen for Harpy. And the try was coming for a long, long time.
So much pressure, so much possession, and Bradford have got the try that they needed. Wigan were out on their feet. 2 dropouts. This was the error from Brian Carney. He took the gamble, and the way that they offloaded it was quite superb. What a step from Shontaine Harpy. I thought he'd done the wrong thing. I have to be honest, I thought Shontaine Harpy maybe should have gone for the corner, but he stepped, he kidded the fullback Chris Radlinski, and it's the 4 that they needed. Super stuff.
His 50th appearance for the Bradford Bulls, and Andrew Farrell not terribly impressed, if looks could kill, but a 50th appearance for Bradford for Shontaine Harpy, and he's marked it with his 12th try of the year. Deacon. This is a big kick. 2 points the gap. Just misses, just fades in front of the posts. 16-14 though, and Bradford with the lead for the first time.
And fully deserved. He's had a big game. All quality, this fella. Knows the way to the line, and as I mentioned just after the restart, Shontaine Harvey and Liam Price, they really have pinpointed Stephen Wild on the Wigan's right-hand centre position.
Radlinski restarts for Wigan and Neil Kelly. It's a big test of Wigan's character now.
Yes, the balls have come out, they're really focused. They've obviously been told what they need to do. As Steve-O said, they're really working the Wigan right-hand side. They're also getting to Wigan's little guys. You know, they're getting to Mark Smith, they're getting to Danny Orr, and they're getting good value out of that. Logan Swan, having one of his better games for the Bulls, is really taking Danny Orr to task. But as we said at half-time, the side that has the possession, that has the position, will win this game. It's a simple game, it's rugby league, and if you can dominate possession, you'll win it.
Bradford dominating at the moment. Gary Connolly is waiting to come on for Wigan. That's a loose pass from Robbie Paul, but it finds its way to Iestyn Harris, and he's gone for a 40-20. The ball just stops dead on the turf. Radlinski gives it to Dallas. Wigan to try and come again. It's all Bradford in the second half.
Certainly is, but good work by Brett Dallas there.
Carney. Hauled down by Fielden. Newton. Mark Smith. Gareth Hock targeted Harris. And Harris helped out in defence by Jamie Peacock. Danny Orr. Little skip from Danny Orr. And Fielden waited for him.
We saw in the opening 12 minutes that the man that was creating all the things was Andy Farrell.
And here he is again. Gives it back to Radlinski. Radlinski tries to weave away from Peacock. Good tackle.
Got to be a bomb.
They're running it down the short side of Dab, looking for Dallas's pace. And Reardon is trapped in goal by Brad Dallas. Pressure now up the other end.
Great work from Newton. They anticipated the fact that it was going to be a foul. I thought he wouldn't need one.
Reardon was safe enough.
He's had a fine game as a fullback. So is this fella, Brett Dallas. Tense moments for Dennis Betts.
Current coach of the month. He played his last game against Bradford in the 2001 Grand Final. Bradford won on that occasion 37 points to 6. It's not going to be a cakewalk tonight. 10 minutes, second half gone. Drop out from Bradford under the sticks. Whoops! Radlinski and Danny Orr nearly getting in the way. Here comes Stephen Wild. Tackled by Logan Swan.
Just saw the experience there of Radlinski shouting right at Danny Orr. Get out of the way, it's mine.
Here's Farrell.
He's the man that can win it for Wigan. He's got to go back to his creative style that he showed early in that first half.
Sean O'Loughlin. Sean O'Loughlin and a short ball. Wild played the ball to Newton. Newton finds Farrell. And Farrell brushes away from one, gets the ball away to Mark Smith. It goes wide to Aspinwall.
Great work from Andy Smith there. He took a gamble and he's limping. He's in trouble. He was in trouble. That'll be back to 6, will it?
Referee hasn't signalled yet. No, it's the last tackle. Screams of protest from the terraces. A stab through. Bounces back, still the last. Another stab through. Vinacolo has it. Connolly misses him, but he's grounded eventually. And the Wigan fans wanted an extra set of 6, which was not forthcoming from Russell Smith.
Good work from Langley.
Jamie Langley. Well, no, it's one of those, Steve-O.
Yep.
It's that rule again.
Yep.
It annoys and confuses supporters. It confuses commentators. There's Andy Smith. He's limping heavily now on the far side. Bill, you have some news of him.
Well, it's just the fact that Andy Smith is staying out there and no sign of a ball's change. There is some concern about him. He came off at the end of the first half limping. Surprised in some ways to see him back out there, but he really is struggling now.
Bradford's struggling, Bill, but the fact that they've got possession and survived that goal line dropout. You know, in the first half Wigan had one of those and converted it into a try with a skill. Bradford probably just upped their intensity in defence and knew that they had to withstand whatever Wigan could throw at them. They've done that now, and they've been able to get the ball to the other end of the field. You know, there's some pretty good play by Bradford in the first 6 minutes of that second half. To win 2 goal line dropouts in such a short space of time shows that you've got some quality in your side, and they managed to convert that into an important try. But this game really has got some great potential left in it, which side whatever's the most energy left to go.
There's a big test of the fitness of both sides.
And they are getting tired. They look tired just before the half-time break.
Farrell doesn't.
And you can see now that both sides are starting to just drop off in the tackle.
Connolly gets it to Stephen Wild. Here's Carney with the pace. What a tackle by Vainicolo. Carney flicks it back. And Shontaine Harpy drops on it gratefully and gets the penalty.
Silly play there by Terry Newton. Carney just back from a long injury. Got the ball back on the inside, but I'm afraid they couldn't get to it. Harpy could. And that's a vital one, and a silly penalty to give away. The safety first now by the Bulls. They'll just grind their way through. In that first half, Bradford only got through 50% of their sets of 6. It's been a lot better.
Terry Newton's gone down.
Oh, that's a big problem.
Robbie Paul goes wide. This is Radford. And Radford.
All the crowd shouting for a Shepherd. Certainly went round the man, but was it close enough to obstruct?
Leon Price, Terry Newton is back here being treated. That looked high from Aspinwall on Price. Robbie Paul, Harris, Vangenaar. Good scrambling defence from Wigan.
Good tackle as well from Danny Orr.
Here's Harris again. Harris gets the ball away. Logan Swan. Somehow they keep him out. Last tackle. And this time it comes up for Carney.
Good work from Harris. Reacted very quickly indeed. Another gamble by the Irish winger Brian Carney. Good positioning on that occasion.
Connolly's taken a clatter here. Connolly has taken a clatter and he's lost the ball, says the referee. I think he got a knee here.
The ball was already in the Bradford player's hands.
Well, he's certainly going down, yeah. No doubt about it. Vangenaar's knee just knocked him completely. Bang. Accident. Malicious intent there.
No, nothing malicious, and the referee said the player was hurt and there's nothing he can do about it because all he saw was the ball coming out.
Yeah.
And it's another problem for Wigan injury-wise with Connolly.
Well, they're going down like flies, aren't they? Just a few moments before Terry Newton was struggling. And just before that, we had Andy Smith struggling on the wing.
And this will be head and feed to Bradford.
This was the intercept. Got away with it there, but good work from Harris.
He has
fitted in well.
Yes. I was going to say, got to the pace of rugby league again in a very short space of time, Justin Harris.
He's shown some nice touches.
Well, he's a class act.
Of course he is. And I must admit, I thought it would take him a little bit longer, but
he did as well.
He's pretty confident. He's looking for the ball. He's pushing people out of the way. He wants to take first receiver.
And he drifts around the play, doesn't he? And he brings people on, and he looks for the opening, and he prizes, and he looks. And
well, he always run the angle.
And Connolly is groggy, and he will go off. He's only just on.
Well, if we can win this game, it'll be remarkable. They are going down like flies. The Landstock Trophy, of course, was on the losing side that day.
Here's Deacon, and he finds Harris. Great ball back on the inside.
Oh, did well to hold on to that.
Harpy gets to his feet. Robbie Paul. Important moments here. Vangenaar!
That's a move that Jimmy Lowes used to utilise so often.
Robbie Paul again. Here's Harris. Wide it goes. Langley. Flick past Logan Swan. O'Loughlin's after him. And they're offside, Wigan now.
The line when the ball was played, and Daniel, in the second consecutive step, was 2 or 3 yards in front.
Will they go for the 2 points on offer?
No,
they're going to tap it.
They're going for there.
Going for the coup de grace.
And here is Parker.
They sense it. They sense it that Wigan is stretched. And they are.
Robbie Paul, Justin Harris, Vangenaar again. Oh, bounces one out of the way, takes 4 to get him to the ground.
Quick play the ball, that's what's needed.
Robbie Paul, Paul Deacon. Deacon probing now, gets the pass away. He's lost that.
Certainly has.
He's lost that. Bradford.
They were out on their feet. And it's going to take something special. And we know that they've got the speed, especially if Brett Dallas gets the football.
And Carney's no slouch on this side. This is O'Loughlin. Carney again. He's taking it forward bravely, but Gary Connolly has one heck of a headache. Farrell. Over the top. Gareth Hock. Little half break. Important tackle that by Deacon. This is the last tackle. Farrell, cross field. This will bounce.
He's dissected them, it's a good kick. How's the chase? Good positioning yet again from Stuart Reardon.
And Tickle gets him down. Harris to Harpy. Showed it to Vainicolo, took the tackle.
He's in a big game in the centre. Shane Harpy, been everywhere. Carries the ball with one hand and has mesmerised this Wigan defence at times. Great work from the big fella, Volcano. That takes the pressure off your side.
And he's sucking in the oxygen, Gary Connolly. Paul, drive forward here by Peacock, great tackle. Danny Tickle, last one. Paul to Deacon. Over the top it goes, and it bounces away from Dallas. Nasty bounce, they shouldn't let this football bounce.
Well, that surprised me, Eddie, because he had plenty of time to get his body underneath that.
It's a penalty, that will relieve the pressure.
He walked it well.
That will relieve the pressure. Joe Vangenaar all over Brett Dallas as he tried to play the ball.
Well, I'm not so sure he was stopped. I think that should have been a play-on situation, and that's the reason why Joe Vangenaar looked distraught at the official.
Neil Kelly, can you pick a winner for us?
It's just got to say, smart play from Brett Dallas there. He's looking for a winner, Eddie. This game's in the balance. You know, Wigan have just sustained loads of pressure on their own line. They've come out like champions, completed set, took them full length of the field. What I will say is, a group of players at Bradford that have had a lot of criticism this year is the Kiwi connection. And you think they're having some of the best performances this evening. Vergana, Vainicolo, Swan, they're all having great games for the Bulls and could actually win this game for them.
It's 2 points at the moment, and Wigan are in possession with Cassidy.
They really can't get good field position, Wigan. That's maybe been brought about by some solid defence from Bradford.
Danny Orr with the chip over the top. Collected by Leon Price. Mark Smith gets to him.
Great defence. This is going to go right down to the wire.
And did Leon Price lose that ball in the tackle?
He certainly bobbled.
This is Reardon.
Boom.
Can't tell.
No, get it.
Can't tell.
So important now. The basics. This is where the importance of making sure that possession counts. Good work there by Robbie Paul. Got good field position so that when the kick comes, they should be turning Wigan around.
Harris stopped by 2 on the last, just inside his own half. Deacon the dummy half. Here's the kick. And that has forced Radlinski to scurry after it, which he does.
Not the best kick either. 15 missed tackles, Bradford on 11. It's been one of those nights.
We have a quarter of the match remaining. We're midway through this second half. Brian Carney thought he was away then.
Well, both sides, they look as though they're looking for a petrol pump, don't they? They need a fill-up. As I say, with the speed of Brett Dallas, I think he could be the turning man. He could turn it all around.
They have men out wide here. Farrell's taken them on himself. Andrew Farrell up the middle. Support is there with Terry Newton. Scrambling defence from Bradford. Back it goes to Radlinski. Radlinski gives it then to O'Loughlin. That was a chance. Newton waits. Danny Orr attacking the line. A little step from Danny Orr. The pass for Cassidy. What a try! What a try from Mick Cassidy! Created by the brilliance of Danny Orr. Mick Cassidy, a one-club man, his first try of the year, and this is his 360th appearance. But Danny Orr created it with a piece of sheer magic.
They've been waiting a long time with the Wigan fans to see the true quality of the former Castleford standoff, Danny Orr. He's admitted it himself that he has not hit top form, but the break here, look at the beautiful dumming by the skipper, Andy Farrell. It was superb. Newton did everything right, as all hookers should do. But this is just nothing short of brilliant. Here it comes. Watch the step from the standoff, Danny Orr. He looked as though he was going to kick. That's where he baffled them. They held off, and he knew that Cassidy was there. That is supreme. Boy, what a try that is. The break from Farrell got them into that decision, and what a step and a pass. Joe Banganar couldn't do anything about it. Boy, we've seen some great tries this season. That ranks with it.
Farrell at the extras, and Wigan are back in front. 20 points to 16.
Well, they'll reflect on this, Eddie, is the fact that the last 5 minutes they shored up their defence. It looked as though Bradford were just going to absolutely bulldoze them. Remember, Bradford turned down an opportunity to take the penalty to add an extra 2 points. It was in an easy position, but they felt they went for the tap because they honestly felt, and so did I, that Wigan were out on their feet. But they're not. What an effort from both sides.
And Cassidy, who has been on the outer a little this year, that first try, never has it ever been better timed than that. Carney takes the second tackle this set of 6. Phil Clark, that was a terrific Wigan try.
It was great footwork from Mick Cassidy as well on the back of what Danny Orr did. I just looked at Bill Arthur as Wigan scored that try. He said great build up to it, and I actually think he's right. It was probably about 8 minutes, and Wigan showed tremendous patience really. They worked the ball and they kicked away, they worked downfield, and then when they were downfield they put tremendous pressure on Bradford with the intensity of the defence. You know, they used their kick and chase as a key performance indicator here at Wigan, and it certainly shows that they were going in the right direction. You know, so often we don't have the patience in sport and we want things instantly, but Wigan certainly took the time to build up for that.
There is a mistake from Terry Newton on the last tackle. They lost a bit of ground on the 4th tackle. On the last, it was Newton who was kicking, and it sailed out on the fall.
Well, there was a rash there, but Wigan really should have sorted the ranks out and sort of said, get someone back for the kick.
Here come the balls again with Peacock.
There'd have been stars all over the place tonight.
Well, we've had some great games this year, and this is up there with the best. Fielder. And I think we've got another cracker lined up for you tomorrow, by the way. Hull against St Helens. It's a smashing match on paper. It's a 6 o'clock start on Sky Sports 1 again for the Black and Whites against the Saints. Big crowd at the KC Stadium. A dab into the in-goal area was by Aaron Smith. Brian Noble chatting to Steve McNamara.
Well, you can't avoid the fact that Aaron Smith has got the confidence to put in a kick like that. But a little bit too strong at a moment when they needed another set of 6. This has been amazing. The effort from these players.
2 points on offer in the Super League table. Oh, great pass from Farrell. Aspinwall. He's got Dallas. Forward.
Oh. He had someone on the inside. He took the wrong option. The crowd think they've scored a magnificent try, but the official Russell Smith has pulled them back for a forward pass. A crucial decision.
And did you see the reaction of Paul Anderson then? And Aspinwall cannot believe it.
Well,
this is a big call.
Look, he had 2 men on the inside. He's got it right, you know. It's a forward. Great positioning by Russell Smith. It was an absolute wonderful decision when you see it again.
No momentum,
No
of course.
momentum, he hit it, but he had two men on the inside. Obviously, he thought to himself, did Aspinwall, the fastest man on the field is Brett Dallas. That could have wrapped it up. He knows it too.
It was a slide rule decision, and it had to be made instantaneously by Russell Smith. Wow. On decisions like that, games turn.
He's got it right. He's had a fine match as Russell Smith.
Anderson. Now Wigan will shout forward every time Bradford pass the ball. Robbie Paul. Deacon. Harris. Bradford.
Wait.
Paul again. Deacon. Peacock, listen to them. They're shouting forward pass for everything, Wigan. Reardon. 4 tackles gone.
Will we see the magic of the Welshman, Justin Harris?
Well, here's the power from Fielden. And he's got the strength to offload it to Robbie Paul. Here is Deacon. And Deacon is grounded on the last.
Looking for the inside runner. They were very flat there in attack, Bradford.
Robbie Paul will hoist the kick. Now this is a tester because Leon Price is after this, but it's too close to Radlinski. Great take.
Taking bacon, isn't it? Easy meat.
Terry Newton's come off for Wigan, by the way, and Harrison Hansen has come on to replace him, and there he is, Hansen, immediately in the thick of it. What a time for an 18-year-old to come on to a field like this, in a match like this. Well, his dad Shane had 4 seasons at Salford, and it was fitting perhaps that Harrison Hansen scored his first ever Super League try against Salford last week. Farrell with the kick downfield. Great kick.
It's a sensible one as well. It made sure dissect the fullback and the winger.
Vainicolo.
Will the volcano explode? Not on this occasion. Good solid work from O'Loughlin. This is where you've got to make sure your mental stability's there, make sure that everybody gets in the straight line of defence.
That nose is bleeding again for Farrell.
He won't mind that. He knows it's going to bleed every time he plays, right the way through to the end of the season, including the Tri-Nations. But boy, what a captain's knock. It has been outstanding from Andy Farrell. He's done everything. Creative, done his share of defence.
And he will have to do his share of defence now because this is Harris. Radlinski, an important tackle the last. Leon Price waits. Infield it comes to Deacon. He's just over the 40-metre mark then. He went for a 40-20.
He knows he had to just take the step over the line. He wishes that maybe a few metres back.
It was only a yard, look.
Yeah.
Made the 20 all right, but was just the wrong side of the line. Injury news, I think, off the side from Bill. I'm sorry. No injury news from Bill. Sorry, William.
Well, that makes a change that there's no injuries. There's been plenty throughout this game, hasn't there?
Let him up quickly, one.
Composure. Do not give away penalties. Remember, Terry Newton giving away a penalty. They were way down when they were playing. They were pretty close to the Bradford line. Whoever scores next, I think will win this.
We shall see. Neil Kelly, let's get your view then. What a match this is.
It's a great match, and it's in character time now. You know, all these players are running on empty or virtually empty, and they've got to find some oxygen from somewhere for that last effort, whether it's to kill the game off in Wigan's favour or for Bradford to snatch it in this last 10 minutes. You can't fault. A draw is almost a justifiable result in this game.
I don't think either coach would settle for that, though. I think they both want to win it desperately. And Reardon. Whoa!
That was silly play. We talk about composure.
Gareth Hock, swinging left arm.
Well, the young player of the year last season. What on earth? And then followed by the youngster, Harrison Hansen. Well, Dennis Betts will be furious. All that hard work. They've allowed Bradford to, obviously now they'll pile it through, get over the halfway line. and then the pressure will be turned around.
Indeed, it was 30 cheap metres then for Bradford. Ooh, long pass, and that is going to be Wigan's ball with Carney. It's play on. That was risky business.
That was suicidal. At a point where they didn't have to do that.
Here's Craig Smith back to add his weight to proceedings. Tackled by Stuart Fielden. Radlinski. I'm with Neil Kelly. It should be a draw, this. Neither side deserves to lose. It's been a classic.
Certainly has, Eddie, and in fact on the website on Sky Sports, I mentioned the fact that it could very well be a draw tonight. Watch for the 1 pointer in the final 5 minutes. We've still got less than 10 remaining.
Don't tell me you know something about this game, Steve. It's with Farrell. Who'll slide the kick in, looking for Radlinski! He's got it! Radlinski's speed got him there!
He'll go for the screen, he has to.
Was he onside? Radlinski and Wigan think yes.
Not going to gamble on this stage.
Well, that all comes about by that silly pass that allowed Wigan the possession. He's onside, all right. No
Dave
doubt
Campbell
about it.
here has a massive decision to make. I think that'll be given.
Yeah, well, from what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, they've been scoring them with a belly button, so that's the forearm. That'll be TRY. Well, Brian Noble will be saying about his side, why on earth, it's obvious it's a try, but why on earth did they go for that suicidal pass? If it was the last minute, you take a risk, but not when you've got 10 minutes to go.
Russell Smith said he's not prepared to take the gamble at this stage. He handed it on to Dave Campbell, and Dave Campbell's decision is a try for Wigan. Radlinski with the try. That's his 170th try for Wigan. This is his 290th appearance for them. It's a night of milestones. It could be a night of a crucial victory for the Wigan Warriors.
The set move. Radlinski, the fullback, knew exactly what his skipper was going to do. You notice just before Farrell kicked that ball, he had a little bit of a look to his right-hand side. This is what it means to a coach. Coach of the month, Dennis Betts. Carry-ons like this, he'll get next month's too. What a kick from Farrell.
And what a reactive run from Radlinski. Wow. Have Wigan done enough to win this match? They lead 24-16. This kick for a 10-point advantage. And Bradford, well, they have to score twice anyway. It's a 10-point lead. 26-16 to the Wigan Warriors. Phil Clark, is the Wigan 100% run set to continue now?
Yes, it is, Eddie, and I think it's thoroughly deserved. You know, confidence and momentum are such an important part of sport. And I just think in the second half, even though they've got some unfamiliar faces, the confidence throughout the whole first team squad really is such that whoever's out there capable of doing whatever they do. Like Neil Kelly said, it's a simple job, and sometimes sat on the sideline you can think it's an easy job. It certainly isn't that, but Wigan have done the simple things very, very well, and I think it's going to be enough to give them another 2-point win as Leon Price just comes to the sideline with an arm injury. Looks like he's coming up.
Thanks, Phil. We have 6.5 minutes remaining. It has been a pulsating night at the JJB Stadium, and Wigan proving that they really do have the sniff of the grand final in their nostrils. And Danny Orr, Leon Price is still on the field. Penalty to Bradford, they're offside. That's the relieving call from Russell Smith.
I think Brian Noble knows that they can't get out of this one.
He's got a problem, Leon Price, he comes off now. By the way, Chris Radlinski, who scored that try, number 170 of his career. It is, would you believe, the 12th try that he scored against the Bradford Bulls in his long and illustrious career. He's a great last line of defence. He's a great match winner as well. 10 points the difference. Wigan with the hint of 2 priceless points. And Hock, the ball comes back to Newton. It goes wide to Mark Smith. It goes further wide to Brett Dallas. And Dallas, and Dallas, and Dallas was so close. 2 tackles gone, plenty remaining. Newton! They hold him out just, but only just. Do they? Well, the ball came out, and it's back to 1. He's right, the tackle count down. Danny Orr! So close again.
Great defence there from Fielding. That was a try saver.
I'm sure I heard the referee say back to 1. And I'm sure he signalled it as well, but he's kept the count going. This is the last. Farrell, Newton, on the burst, Craig Smith. Oh, he deserves that. Craig Smith deserves that. Bravery from Smith to come on with a bad knee after looking like his match was over, has won the game for Wigan now. There is no comeback for Bradford from this. The champions vanquished at the JJB Stadium. But what a match we've seen, and Bradford have played their full part.
They certainly have, and Dennis Betts and all the players, when they relax and settle down after this game, they will pinpoint one passage of play when Bradford had 3 sets of 6 and Wigan's defence. Here's the big fella scoring the try, overjoyed, and rightly so. It looked for a moment there as though Andy Farrell was going to give him a Liverpool kiss. You little beauty. Absolutely tremendous elation amongst the camp.
And that was on the last tackle. That was the power play from Wigan. And Craig Smith with the crucial try. That will put Bradford to bed. This is a bonus. It's coming from Andrew Farrell if he kicks it.
And you talk of bonus, I think we might have a little tick-tock on this guy's arm.
Well, we'll get the decision in a moment. There are candidates on both sides all over the field. Farrell then adds the extras. 32-16, Dave Hadfield, who is the media's Sky Sports man of the match.
Bradford have finished up being well beaten, but there are some good long-term signs for, I thought, some real touches of class from Yestin Harris, and that might be something to do with Logan Swan's best game for them, but it's been a unanimous vote up there. Andy Farrell's been immense every week, but tonight he's taken it to a completely new level, the best front rower, and also the most creative player. It shouldn't be possible, but it is.
Thanks, Dave. Andrew Farrell wins another Tissot watch then. He must have just about every style in his collection now. And they've managed this without Adrian Lamb. It's a remarkable Wigan win.
Well, that's a problem with the knee that he picked up in the first half. He had to leave the field. Well, if ever there was a watch more deserved on anybody's arm, it's this fella tonight. In the first 10 minutes, his creativity was absolutely superb. He's done the hard yards, he's created, he's made sure that all his teammates have run the angles. It has been a superb rugby league game.
It's been magnificent.
Full credit to both sides.
Here is Carney back, and with a vengeance to Brian Carney.
Well, he's playing the ball there as they cart in Craig Smith from the field of play.
And Farrell dances away from Fielden, hammers the ball downfield, straight down the throat of Reardon. Now, can Bradford get some sort of consolation? Here is Vinacolo, and he's through 2, and he's through Danny Orr, and he's through another, and he's got the pass to Reardon. What a run from Vinacolo! What a tackle on Reardon! And Farrell is flat out again, the nose is gone, I think. Here's Vinacolo again. He started it, he's trying to finish it, and they're offside, Wigan.
Well, finish with a flourish, but it's far too late. They're down all over the place. Vinacolo got 2 great runs in that build-up.
Harris dumps the ball, it's a knock-off. Oh, it's off his foot, says the referee.
Still not done yet, the Bulls. It'll be mere consolation.
I don't know whether it's the nose this time or the eye for Farrell. Or was it Hansen? Well, anyway, it's Harrison Hansen. Here's Andrew Farrell, he's still out there. Harrison Hansen goes off with blood pumping. Bradford looking for the consolation. Fielden pops it to Bradford. Wide they come to the big fellow. And Vainikolo is in touch. Terrific tackle from Carney and Tickle.
And look at Craig Smith. He was just sat down on the sidelines. I bet he actually thought about just rolling from the outside. There he is, sat down, saying, "Come on, fellas, I've done my bit, I've scored." And he looks as though he's just sat in an armchair, saying, "I don't care what happens."
Cassidy was hit high. Fielden says it was the man ducking into it. Craig Smith being helped off. The counting down, it's all over. Farrell's nose is intact. And Wigan's 100% record is intact. They have to restart the game though, it was a penalty. Next tackle will finish it. And Terry Newton will take the tackle. There's the siren. A famous win for Wigan. Farrell, the man of the match. I thought he went down poleaxed with another cracked nose, but it was Harrison Hansen. He stayed on. And what a second half Wigan have produced. 3 tries they scored to just the 1 from Shontaine Harpy for Bradford, and they win a titanic struggle by 32 points to 16. Perhaps, just perhaps, the margin of victory flatters them, but it is a very important win. Their 100% record's intact. The caretaker coach, Dennis Betts, has done it again. He's with Bill.
Dennis, I think that tackle right at the end there, where they took Leslie Vainikolo into touch, probably summed up Wigan's performance tonight, just commitment.
I think it epitomises what we're about at this moment. We've got a no excuses culture at the moment in this club, and we're just willing to lie down. I think the second half was a display of true grit and determination from a fantastic bunch of players.
12-0 up. Then to see the balls come back like that, what were you making of that?
So I can just stand up there or sit up there and watch. I think the bloke you're going to talk to next is the bloke that takes all the credit. He's the leader out there. He puts into place what we deserve to do. And this is a fantastic player. And today he really showed that he's one of the best in the world.
And is that indicative of how tight it is going to be all the way to Old Trafford?
I think it is. I think you look at the top 5. Bradford, a fantastic side. They came here tonight and they showed a lot of flair and a lot of ability. But this side's something special at the moment.
Thanks, Dennis. Let's bring man of the match, Andrew Farrell, in. Andy, congratulations. I think your reaction when Craig Smith scored at the end there just about summed it up, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, us sport forwards work hard, Bill, and it's nice to get over every now and again.
Especially on one leg.
Yeah, he's battled on for us tonight. You know, the good thing about this team at this moment in time is we've got a lot of injuries, especially in the forwards, and our main playmaker in Adrian went off early, and the squad's rallying together and the team spirit is fantastic, and we're digging in for one another.
And the Bulls, I mean, given their due tonight, they were on the ropes and they really made you work for that. The scoreline probably won't reflect it.
No, the score doesn't reflect it. It was a very tough game, and we knew that was going to be very, very tough, and you know, these two teams will be there at the end of the day.
Congratulations on a man of the match performance, Andy.
Thanks very much, Will. Cheers.
Captain's knock from Andrew Farrell. They won by 32 points to 16. He scored a try, kicked 6 goals. He deserves the watch. What a performance, what a match. Phil Clark, do you think Bradford, do you think they were 16 points worse off? Do you think that win flatters Wigan a touch?
Not really. I thought the second half really Wigan was so dominant, and Bradford just didn't have the patience, could take the chances they had really. Wigan's defence at times on their own line, they deserved to win, and I think true by that scoreline. My mind went back to the round 1, the first game of this season, when Bradford dominated Wigan so clearly. Obviously 5 months is a long time in Rugby League, still a few months yet before the grand final, yet to see who's going to make it.
Yes, it's a fascinating race, and the win has taken Wigan up to 3rd in the table. They're a point behind St Helens, who play tomorrow night against Hull. How big is that one now? Leeds stay on top, Bradford have dropped down to 5th. Oh, what a match. Privileged to be here. Pleasure, I hope, for you watching at home. Neil Kelly has made a comeback to the Super League this evening. We pick him for you, don't we?
Well, some shame losing to Wigan, isn't it? You know, I lost my job last week, a couple of weeks ago, losing to Wigan, and
it's a good point you make.
They're a top side, you know, and I hope Chris Casey doesn't knock on Brian Noble's door when he's doing his video session in the morning with the team. But you know, it was character time in that last 10 minutes, and I thought Wigan really showed they're a champion side, showed what they're made of. They have got a no excuse policy in there. You can see it. You can see the spirit in the huddle at the end of the game. You know, they're a side that have got the sights set on something special this year. They've got a lot of injuries. There's a lot of adverse situations, you know, and they've done very well. Can't take it away from Bradford. They've played their part in a great game as well.
I agree with you. I think it was a sensational advert for rugby league, and you saw Dennis Betts there at the heart of it all. Remember, they're doing this with Dennis, Steve-O, caretaker coach. There's the Mike Gregory illness. There's all the injuries they've picked up. I think Wigan look a pretty good bet for the grand final.
Yeah, they certainly do, but they'll be keen to get a lot of their players back. Whether they do that, look, we know that they've got plenty of effort. They've got fight in their bodies, haven't they? And they showed it tonight, but all right, this defensive effort got to... But why on earth did they go for this long pass? It was a Deacon pass to Harris. It was a woeful effort. There was still 10 minutes to go. But this was the most enjoyable part of the evening. Craig Smith, injured in the first half, and look at Andy Farrell. As I said, I thought I was going to give him a Liverpool kiss with that situation, but as I said before, about 15 minutes before the end of this game, that they will look back, Wigan, when Bradford just applied so much pressure. I think they had 18 tackles, chances to score a try, and all they did, Wigan, was just get back. I don't know how they did it. They kept them at bay, and they will look at that. 7 minutes in a game of rugby league, but that's the reason why they won.
A truly fantastic match, and Wigan have won it by 32 points to 16. A great game, and lots more to come on Sky Sports. If you think this was good, try this. Hull against Saints, Saturday at 6 o'clock. It's live on Sky Sports 1. Hull and Saints vying for second spot in the table. Wests against Melbourne Storm is the live match from the Australian Rugby League, Saturday at 10:30 on Sky Sports 3. And the Australian Rugby League continues on Sunday, also at 10:30 on Sky Sports 3. It's Newcastle against Brisbane. So a fantastic weekend still coming up. We have enjoyed every minute of what we have seen here. Some wonderful performances. It's thanks to Neil Kelly for being here. We'll see you again. We'll get you back, and maybe you'll produce another classic for us. I'm sure that you will. Steve-O and I will be with you tomorrow night. And we have Carl Harrison of the Salford City Reds joining us at Hull. Don't miss it. It's Hull against St Helens. This was good. That will be just as good. Bye-bye from us all. The Bradford Bulls are defending champions, and they've won 5 on the spin. What a game! This is the way the table looks, and as you can see, it's pretty tight up there at the top. A Wigan victory, they will go above Bradford and Hull. A Bradford win, they will go above St Helens on points difference into second. Quite a match, as I say. And the Bradford Bulls, they've won 5 in a row following back-to-back defeats at St Helens and Leeds. This is their team. Reardon, Andy Smith, Price, Harpy, Binacolo. Yestin Harris on his full debut back with the Bulls. Deacon at scrum half. Forwards, Vanganar, Robbie Paul, Fielden, Peacock, Swan and Radford. And on the bench, Anderson, Langley, Aaron Smith and Parker. And the coach, is Brian Noble. Wigan Warriors will line up like this. Radlinski at full-back, then it goes Dallas, Aspinwall, Wild and Carney back in the side after an horrific injury run. Orr and Lamb operating at half-back. The forwards, Smith, Newton and Farrell, who's the captain and operating at prop these days. Tickle and Hock, and O'Loughlin is the loose forward. And the substitutes for Wigan, Cassidy, Mark Smith, Hansen and Gary Connolly. And Dennis Betts is the acting coach, but he is the reigning coach of the month. And there's Justin Harris. He has a huge job on his hands this evening, trying to contain Danny Orr. It's his first start. He had half an hour last week, of course, as substitute for the Bradford Bulls against Wakefield. And Wigan will present a mighty challenge, and beaten in the last 7. They've lost just 1 of 9 under Dennis Betts. And they've got rivals St Helens in second place just now, Wigan at 5th, but only a couple of points separate them. And there is Brian Carney, 28 next Friday. He returned against Salford. He missed 20 matches injured at the start of the season, injured in the Cup at the Widnes Vikings. And the Irish flag and Brian Carney, well, he's a great favourite on the terraces here. Match referee is Russell Smith. Pitch is in remarkable condition. Thankfully, summer has briefly returned. We have blue skies overhead, and Steve-O, we have a game to light up the Super League.
Certainly do, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure all of you has realised that Wigan versus Bradford, something extra special. You look at both sides, so many battles are going to unfold there tonight. Deacon versus Lamb, Harris against Danny Orr. The list is endless.
Deacon gets us underway. It's a deep kick, and underneath it, the Wigan fullback Chris Radlinski, and a first touch for Brian Carney. He plays the ball quickly, and here comes Andrew Farrell. Good harassing though in defence by the Bradford Bulls, and leading the charge then was Justin Harris. Good tackle low down by Robbie Paul, helped out by Stuart Fielden. Gareth Hock plays the ball quickly, and here is a key figure, Danny Orr, for the Wigan Warriors. I beg your pardon, that was Terry Newton, who is equally as key a figure as Danny Orr is. There's Newton again. Back it goes to Orr. And the big kick downfield in between Reardon and Vinacolo. It will bounce into the arms of Vinacolo. And the big fellow has a great run early. And now he loses the ball though. Huge blunder. Adrian Lamb swoops on it as you watch the head-to-head. And as you can see in Super League, it's pretty tight between these two. But not the start that Vinacolo wanted.
Neither the Brian Noble, the Bradford coach, he'll feel a little bit undone because their defence was pretty solid. They weren't allowing Wigan much room, but they're giving it plenty of air.
They are, and this is Aspinwall, and he's hauled down 25 metres away from the Bradford post. Newton to Lamb, and here's Farrell on the run. And Farrell is wrestled to the ground just over the 20-metre mark.
Good angle running as well. They're working hard for each other.
Lamb to O'Loughlin.
Good defence.
Yes, Logan Swan wouldn't be fooled by the dummy runner. Here is Danny Tickle. Last tackle here for Wigan, this set of 6. Adrian Lamb attacking the line, sliding the kick through. It's picked up by Reardon. Farrell following up, and they'll force him over the line in goal. And it's going to be a dropout under the sticks.
Tremendous defence there. Neat little kick through from Adrian Lamb. Reardon, tremendous positioning, but you can see there the ball carrying arm, and his momentum had not stopped.
Good start for Dennis Betts, the reigning coach of the month, and a little smile on his face. More pressure on this Bradford line. Lamb is underneath the dropout, gives it to Danny Tickle.
Tremendous atmosphere out there, and I'm sure Brian Noble realises that it's not going to be an easy walk in the park tonight, and he'll expect more defence like he's got there from the forwards, especially the big fella Joe Vangenaert.
And Fielden was in there pretty quickly as well. That's a great tackle low down by Harvey on Stephen Wild. Here now comes Sean O'Loughlin, the pass not the best, On 2 bounces, though, it finds Farrell. He gives it to Radlinski. It's all Wigan in the opening 2-3 minutes here at the JJB Stadium. Vangenaar and Fielden again in with the tackle. Newton waits at dummy half. They go right to the yes, and Lamb changes the direction. Lamb flicks the pass. This is Newton. Newton standing, flicks it to Danny Orr. The call was from Farrell on the inside. Scrambling defence from Bradford, but Farrell is over under the sticks, and all the early pressure has paid off for the Wigan Warriors. Andrew Farrell gets the try for Wigan.
Unbelievable. That's all you can say about the ability of keeping this ball alive. I mentioned the fact that the Bradford Bulls were solid at the start of this game in their defence, but you just can't stop anything like that. It was wave after wave. Look at Lamb on through. They took the gamble back on the inside. Newton said, "Give it to me." Second effort there. Orr spins it round. What a call from the captain, and what a dummy. Stuart Fielden. Look at this. This is a kick through. All defence. It gave them the extra 6. And when you get consecutive sets of 6, you normally come up with something. And that something is 4 points that's surely going to be stretched to 6 with an easy kick right in front. Watch the dummy from Farrell. Here he goes underneath the sticks. They've gone absolutely bananas here at the JJB.
Andrew Farrell, the most prolific goal kicker and point scorer in the 9-year history of the Super League competition, has given Wigan Warriors the perfect start here. They lead by 6 points to 0.
Wow, what a start. You just felt that there was something special on show tonight. Big night for Houston Harris. He knows it's welcome back time. Not coming off the bench tonight. Hopefully he'll make the full 80 minutes.
So Bradford get us going away again with the kick from Deacon, and Radlinski collects it once again, gives it again to Carney, and Carney is crunched to the ground 12 metres away from his own line. Adrian Lamb, they go wide to Danny Tickle. Right, Andrew Farrell has put down a big marker here as a possible man of the match. Early, Dave Hadfield.
Well, Eddie, I think it's a big surprise to a lot of us that Houston Harris is starting this, but it sets up a fascinating matchup with Danny Orr. We've already seen some players who were rested last week by Wigan: Farrell, Newton, Gareth Hock, looking fresh, rested and making a big impact. Against that, I thought Stuart Fielder and Jamie Peacock had the best matches for months last week, so I expect them to figure very prominently as well.
Thanks, Dave. We'll get the name of the man of the match. 5 minutes or so to go. Reardon. Wigan look really in the mood for this.
Beautiful hands there that gave the winger, Brian Carney, the opportunity. Good job that Vainicolo got back.
And did you notice who was leading the charge downfield? The prop forward, Craig Smith. This now is Vangenaar.
It's amazing, you know, this Wigan outfit. Remember, a lot of people were criticising the standing coach, Dennis Betts, when Warrington took them apart. It looked as though Wigan was still going through the wobbles, but they have come back with sheer venom and quality at that.
Quality run from Chris Radlinski. Well, time for us to welcome our special guest.